Hey there, welcome back guys. This video is for those who want to know more about the liftoff simulator. I have to say I've experimented with it. I have the DJI RC controller too, and I was on the fence. I was at the point where I was going to return it. I'm like, this is just ridiculous. I mean, when you can just fly like this normally, you know, why would you want to fly any other way? You kind of get spoiled. You know, I have to say I'm still on the fence with it because I am spoiled by flying, you know, my controller the regular way as you would in a video game, as you would in the arcade, as you would, you know, normally fly your drone. Like, let's say if I was going to fly the FPV indoors, right? My Avata, I would definitely use this, but in regular mode, right? I wouldn't put it in manual mode. I would put it in neutral, and then maybe put this back, but I've gotten used to experimenting flying around the house because eventually, you know, you want to explore some urban ruins, right? And anyway, let's get started. So basically, what you want to do is launch Liftoff. I mean, Liftoff is a great simulator. I still like the DJI one because you can practice. Because remember, if you spend all your time in the liftoff simulator, you're not going to hone those skills to go into manual, neutral, and sport mode as quickly as you want to. So I would still recommend using the DJI simulator, and there's actually a link in the description below. Let me just lower that because we don't need it so high. So yeah, so most likely, you know, you want to practice that. So let's say you're doing great in the simulators, whichever one you just decide to go with. Let's say you're doing great in the liftoff simulator. I would still go back into the DJI version only because you want to be able to have those instincts to switch, to toggle back and forth, because there are just moments where you're like, you have a oh shit moment and you're just like, where am I, mayday, mayday. It's like Tom Cruise and Top Gun when they're just doing barrel rolls, and that does happen in the simulator, which is great. I can't tell you how many drones I would have been out of, but it just takes persistence, because at first I wanted to give up, and I'm like, but then I just kept pushing myself, and you know, eventually I made it through the race sequence. Let's see what we have here. If we go to options, I believe it is in replay. So when you go to tools and replay, the workbench will let you build the and then you go into the drone editor, right? And that lets you choose the FPV, this drone, right? You go to your fleet and you select it. And then this is where you would do it, from blueprints, downloads, etc. You know, and you select a drone, and most likely your fleet. When you go to your fleet, you know, you can just select from there. And then let's see what we've got. That's it. You know, because I chose to activate this one because that's the closest thing you have to the Avata until I don't know, until eventually one day they'll throw that in there. At least I hope they do, you know. And these are how you select the other drones. This one's a nice one. I haven't flown that one yet. Looks, kind of reminds me of the Tello drone, my first, you know, mini drone. But I've been flying drones for many years now, but never, you know, to the extent where no one told me you needed part 107. Anyway, on that note, yeah, so look at that. This is nice. And then you select this one. So of course that's a drone, but I'm going to exit because we're going to go back to what we're going to show you. All right, so in the tools, right, you go to replay, and you can replay. I'll show you the flight, but let me just give you some pointers before I show you the flight, because it actually took me some time. So I like to choose race, right? And but you might want to start off with free flight. You decide, but when you click race, I'll show you why I like race. Race is complicated. It's challenging. I haven't tried any of these, but if you can get through the straw bale, I would definitely try Pine Valley. I'm nowhere near Pine Valley, but as you can see, I've done it 3 times. The first time it took me 22 minutes, 30 minutes, and 34. And don't be discouraged, because you'll see some of the flight times the guys are doing 3 laps in under 4 minutes. But the trick is to sort of hone your skill, and I'll show you what exactly I'm talking about, and then I'll just So basically you have your RC controller, make sure it's there, that it's locked in. It can lock. The only downside, remember, you can't switch from normal. And even if you press the A button, I'll show you on the screen. Apparently if you press the A button, it goes to manual, neutral, normal, neutral, whatever it's called, and then sport, but nothing happens. The controller still works the same, which is a bummer. So they add it there, but anyway. So with the throttle's down, but of course the controller's off, so I have to turn it on. There we go. And this is really nice. And the timer doesn't start until you are past the 2 checkpoints, right? But so let's say you go up a little bit. Remember, I'm no expert in this. Whoa. So, and you can press the restart button. The hardest part is getting past the first checkpoint, right? And once you get past the first, whoops, replay. Once you get past the first check, it's just so sensitive, right? And remember, I don't have the skills to like swoop through the first checkpoint, but I can fly this route. Whoops, I can fly this route, right? Let me just go. You could always flip the drone over. Let's try. I can fly this route easily without going through the checkpoints, which is great, which is what I really want to show you. There's another checkpoint. So, so once you hone the skill of being able to, let's say, for example, let me go back. So fly the route. So I can fly, as you can see, fly the route above ground, right? Let me just get it busy there. But I can't fly it when it's low to the ground. Like, it's just tricky. But you want to be able to control the drone while it's in the air. See that? See, I can fly it. And it took some time to get there, to get to where I am. I could land it too. I've practiced landing it. I'll go up again, go around. So this is great because this is what you want to really be able to do. You want to be able to like do swoops and whoops in the air with your drone. But the only downside is, say, I'm going to go this way, going to go left. See, easily. So I would practice race mode, practice flying the route, right, in the air, above the ground. And as you can see, it's just going around. And then even if it takes, as you can see, I just did the whole lap. But you have to go through the simulate through the things, whatever they're called, to get the points and to actually finish this course and get the time for it. But practice with it, even if it takes 30 minutes, because as you can see, it really works your skill and your craft. And then I don't know, who knows, maybe many months from now, or maybe never, because I want to be able to do, like, look, if you do the flips in the air, you have to know when to put the controller back, and it flips back by itself. But sometimes you're like, oh no, mayday, mayday, but you have to know where up and down is in your surroundings, so which is great. So, and then of course when you're ready, you'll swoop back down and around and land where you left off, because you can't put it into what's it called, you can't put it into normal mode, right? So once you land it, whoops, I didn't really land. So that's the hardest part, because when you land, whoops, I'll bring it back up. So you have no trouble. And this is what the simulator is for. And eventually you'll hone the skill. I'll say I'll land right about there. See? To land it, of course, I'd never land the Avata in manual mode, that's for sure. I would put it back. Let's say I would toggle it like this. Whoops. Oh, and the good thing about this is you have time to put the drone. But so when you're upside down, you have like 30 or 40 seconds before it crashes, so you can flip back. But what I would do is I would put it into normal mode, right, and then do it. But you see, I just put it into normal mode. Now look at the screen. If I press A, nothing happens. It disappears from normal. I'm not sure what mode that is. And then sport mode, and then neutral. You should be able to do that here. But even if you could, so let's say for example, look, it's in neutral. I'm gonna push it up, but it doesn't fly in normal mode. Like, oh wait, maybe it does. Nah, not really. Maybe. Let's see. Let's try. A little bit. It works a little better, to be honest. Let's try going a little bit lower. but it's not like, yeah, it is in normal mode. Oh wow, look at that. So now it would just be a matter of activating the hotkey. So let's try normal mode. So let's see if I was at this course. So now I'm in normal mode. I can go down. It doesn't go down really fast, so that's pretty good, but you just have to press the A key, which is, oh yeah, so I can do the course. But I'm going to start the course down over there. Goes crash into the hay. Slow down a little bit. So you have a little bit more control. A little bit. Yeah, look at that. Whoa. But you have to remember, bring it up really quick. And voila. So it's still a little tricky, because if you had the motion controller, that's just phenomenal. All right, but yeah, you do have some more control, so you can do it, but it's not, let's see, let's try it. You could bring it down, but you don't have those angles that you can fly with. Whoops. Yeah, it's so much easier. Whoops. Bring it back. It's really hard flying low to the ground. Let's go through the checkpoint. But nothing beats the real thing. Yeah, it's still really sensitive, probably because this is like, if it was there, the drone would lift off. So let's see. So you can't let the drone hover. Well, you can a little bit. Let's see if I can. You can a little bit. I've seen someone do bunny hops in here, like just basically going up and down, up and down. See, the trick is, it's the trouble, not the trouble, but the trick is to hone the skill in flying really low. You know, you got it, you got it. Nope, don't got it. Yeah, so you know, it just takes skill, but you know that. If you're practicing with this, because as you can see, that's a separate skill in itself, but if you had the motion controller, it just goes wherever you point it. I think that's what they were using in Star Wars. All the ships were powered by or controlled by motion controllers. They didn't have the FPV controller. People would be dying and crashing. You got like a phone call. Luke, use the Force. Whoop, crash. Okay, so let's go back into, press A again. Manual mode. Manual mode is a little bit fun, but you have I guess you have a little bit more control if you know what you're doing. Like, I can just spin around, but the trouble is, I like, if I'm gonna do manual mode, I'm definitely gonna do it when I am in the air, right? Don't get me wrong. Whoops, like. See, made it through the checkpoint. You got to click. So yeah, I guess manual mode can be fun. Nope, got to flip back over. See, the time starts over again. So on that note, I'm still on the fence with it. I like it. I don't love it. I mean, once you fly the drone with the motion controller, or you've been flying, you know, and playing games your whole time with the joystick or the, you know, whatever you want to call it. See, this is in, whoops, this is in manual mode. And once you make it past the checkpoint, see, that's the trick. So as you can see, you want to be able to control the drone. Once you can control the drone in the air, you're golden. The rest is just, and not really golden, because I would recommend doing one full loop without crashing if I was going to fly in an area with buildings. Thankfully, I'm in an area where there are a lot of open fields, because what'll happen is this. Let's say I can land this anywhere I want. Let's say I want to land it right before that hoop, right? But, you know, I wouldn't, unless I can do the whole course, I would fly like in an area with buildings. But this is what's going to happen on your first. This is probably what happens on your first flight when you get discouraged. You're like, oh wow, this is so cool. I have my joysticks in, you know, the positions, and then all of a sudden it says put it in so you can start it, and then all of a sudden the drone, you're like, what's going on? I'm like, or not even that, because this is what happened to me on the first time. All of a sudden the drone like takes off, and I'm like, oh my god, what's going on? What, I don't understand. So then I took a screwdriver, unscrewed it, because it was hard to actually control how much tension was there. So like, so I watched another video on YouTube, and then figured that out. But if you're doing this like I'm doing in the simulator, I'd say as long as it's in an open field, you can fly, run this course, from above ground, right? Able to land it wherever you want. I would say not really land, because it sort of hits the ground hard. Because remember, you're not going to land the Avata. You're gonna do it by hand, and as long as you can balance it, like get it back into the position that you need to, like just when the things get out of control. Let's say I want to land it at the dot, right? Right about there. See, but I would never, you'd never do that. Actually, let's see if that would work. Hold on. Let's see if we can get things out of control, right? We're going to arm it up, go up in the simulator, and then go up as high as we can, as it lets us, and then see if we go out of control, and then press A. Ah, nice. So look at that. It got us back into normal mode. So then you go back into normal mode. The only thing I don't see is the miles per hour, how fast we're going. Battery. So you see the battery? It's at 98%. If you don't run this course before the battery dies, basically you're shit out of luck. You have to start over again, because that happened to me a couple of times where I'm like, oh my god, I'm on lap 3, and I'm trying to get through here, like trying to get through one particular spot, and then, oh no, I missed it. All right, let me fly back around again. It's really hard flying low. I mean, it's easy flying low when you're when you have the motion controller. It's just motion. I think it's called the motion controller too, right? It's just phenomenal. And then to stop the drone, it doesn't stop on a dime. It should have come down, but with the motion controller, it does stop on a dime. Okay, so now I'm there. Let's try it again. Well, no. So it's really sensitive. Let's put it back into manual mode and see. Yeah, I've seen some guys doing bunny hops on here. Like they would just jump, hop, and then go down, and then hop, and down, and then hop. And then when you get stuck in the hay, that's the tricky part. Because what you want to do is when you get stuck in the hay, let's say you're on lap 3, and you're like, oh no, what do? You just roll over as fast as you can. You keep doing this with the joystick. See what's happening down there? You keep doing that, and then you'll get out of the hay. Because the last thing you want, let's say if you're at the point where I am, where it's taking you a long time to finish the course, and you're like this far away from the finish line, see, now I'm in manual mode. Whoop, missed it. So we go back up. See, if I was had the hotkeys, I'd press it, which is another instinct that you want to have. Let's say you never plan to do hoops or loops and go through these little obstacles like that, but you're about to crash into a fence. You can't. You gotta have that instinct. And you see, and instead I press the return home button, because there's no instinct there, because why? I just pressed the A button. So I'll be out in the field and I'll be like, wait, where's my computer? So that's the liftoff simulator. Don't be discouraged. I would just continue practicing. As you can see, you crash, flip over, or you don't like where you landed, just do it again and again and again. So it's not just enough to be able to, and the hardest part is that liftoff, because you think you have the controller where you want it, but you don't. It's like too much lift, too little lift, and then you want to self-correct, and look how high it is. So that's the other downside to the liftoff simulator, because at sometimes I'll put it the throttle there and it'll go up. Sometimes I put it there, see that? It'll go up. And then other times I put it there and it'll go up. and other times I put it there and it'll go up. It should have been lifted off already. Look at that. It's not going to lift off until, so of course now it's not going to lift off because I have to put the throttle in the right position, right? But let's put it on the countdown. So now I'm going to do there. It should lift a little, like, you know, I would think it would lift it up by now, and then you can control it really slow, like left, a little right, you know, to maintain speed. But it doesn't lift off until it actually is almost at right about there, right? So that's a little disappointing. I wish it was actually true to the points that it actually set. So now we're in manual mode. Whoops. Whoops. See? Go back. Missed it. But don't be discouraged, because remember, at the end of the day, you want to be able to fly that cinematic footage. And unless you're going to be on the beach and like doing those, like flying, let's go up in the air. And that's the other downside to the simulator. I'm just going to bring it up. Is that, well, you want to fly along the water like that and catch that cinematic angle right along the coast, and then do like that, which you can do because you're doing it. And as long as you can, you just need to be able to, oh no, I'm losing control. And that's it. Maybe there's a way. Maybe I'll dig deeper and see if I can if it'll let me reprogram these keys. And that's it. This is my review on the lift simulator using the RC Controller 2. As you can tell, this video is for beginners. I'm not advanced, but I'm just giving you some pointers, and you know, to not give up, and to just keep pushing along, keep trying. And as you can see, if I did it, you definitely can do it too. You know, and you'll be at different levels. And just start off with the before you get to this level. Let me just go back, and we don't want to quit. Well, you could actually save, right? But we'll just quit that. We'll return to main menu. So quit doesn't always mean you're quitting the game, unless you have to quit to go from this menu. But anyway, you probably want to do free flight, right? You press it, and then after it's pressed, you have straw bale, but the straw bale doesn't have the loops to go through, or whatever those things are called, the obstacle course, the agility training for you and your drone. Let's see if it loads though. Press C to FPV goggles. What does C do? Oh wow, yeah, that's like crappy goggles, good goggles, crappy goggles, you want the good goggle view. All right, that's nice that they did that. Now we just got to get this working. So as you can see, I'm in manual mode, lift off, and so this is where I originally practiced, and I was like, oh wow, that's so cool. I'm able to fly the course, right? Really cool. And then watch out for the tree. And you know, I was doing really well, and I was like, let me try another level and see. And then I saw the other one, but I you know, or you can even practice in the hay, right? Just going in a straight line, going in that little bale, right? And then there you go, and then looping around, and then going back, and then looping again, and then just practice that. Now remember, you don't want to do this where there are buildings if you're not an expert, and if you have, you know, minimal training. You want to be able to do that. If you can do that whole course, that whole racing course, without crashing or flipping, then you know, fly comfortably and safe. Anyway, I hope this video helped you, and you're better able to push yourself forward in learning how to do manual mode. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below, or ideas for other videos. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Just crashing the drone.